Help me! Zombie! Go, go, go! Guys, wait! It's just me, Vince Frost, private detective.
We're both wearing Romero-themed shirts.
Yeah.
One new, one old.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
What's yours?
Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
It's barely
It's like
holding together.
Dish Rag of the Dead. Is there anything on the back?
No.
For the fans at home.
I think this was the first like horror shirt I ever got.
Yeah.
In 1998.
Nice. Where'd you get
I
it?
retired it from online, which was like a new thing back then. Like,
Whoa! I got it from online.
From online?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
I was surfing the web.
Some
like,
dude
"Wah!"
was like, "Here you go, my name's from online." But were you were saying?
I retired this shirt, but I brought it back out.
Yeah, you retired it.
Yeah.
As in
I'm not going to wear it anymore because it's falling apart.
You should frame
but
it.
I still like it.
I still like it. What's it say? When there's no more room in hell,
the dead will walk the earth.
Oh my god! And Earth is completely capitalized, and so is hell. So you know they're not fucking around.
Welcome
Yeah.
to Zombie Week.
And everybody's seen this shirt. I've worn it like 100 times on the podcast. It doesn't even have to be Zombie Week.
It's true.
Oh, this one actually says something at the bottom. The darkest day of horror the world has ever known. Holy shit. Like, you will
You
be...
thought zombies were scary.
Yeah.
Wait till you see them in broad daylight.
It's like Resident Evil 5 stuff in a minute.
Look, yeah, not as scary. Turns out.
Yeah. They were trying to piggyback off the success of Day of the Dead. I'm sure.
The massive hit, Day of the Dead.
The best one. Buddy Shots Podcast 167. If you kill a zombie, does it go to heaven?
Never thought about
Zombie Week.
it. Let's do this.
Yep.
Go.
Okay, so the poll, the battery is some random pops. You see those pop-ups for like bloop bloop. No, once again we got a goose egg on this one. Nobody'd seen either one of these. I'd heard of at least one of these, and turns out I'd seen a clip from the battery before.
Oh,
I
nice.
Didn't know. I think we know what.
How's
clip
that
it
possible?
Like that baby covered in peanut butter. It's like So, which one do you want to talk about first? Since this is these are both your picks. I guess before we even get into it, though, like how did you come across these? You have more history with these than me.
So Maggie came out during Arnold's like brief renaissance in the teens.
Yeah.
And I was super pumped about it, and I saw it when it came out and loved it.
Did it come to theaters or?
It did.
Okay.
I don't think I caught it in theaters though, or maybe, I can't remember. But I loved it at the time. Did I love it again? I wanted to rewatch it because it had been since 2015 when it came out. It's almost 10 years.
So you're doing like a Mike where you rewatch something like Blade.
Yeah.
Did
it hold up? We shall see. Then the battery, I'm not sure how I heard about this, but I think it
looked like it had like a limited release or something, and then it was on disc, right? Or something.
It was on disc. I think it may have been on Netflix back when it was like showing movies.
Yeah, back when they actually, because that's actually how I found a lot of movies I like today, was back when Netflix would actually be like, like you said, it would be like, holy crap, it came to Netflix and this is like an underground, like, holy crap kind of thing.
Yeah, but I was kind of blown away by the battery, and I've watched it a bunch of times since then, and I wanted to see what you thought about it.
Cool.
So.
And it's packaged with it. People are probably confused why we have a thing up here that says After Midnight.
Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
The Battery was directed and written by Jeremy Gardner.
And so was After Midnight.
And starring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was his follow-up, After Midnight.
And for whatever reason, there's no reversible cover with the Battery, which...
The Battery is a special feature on this disc.
Right, yeah. Even though it has a lot of features, so...
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the backstory. I never heard of the Battery or After Midnight till, like, you know, you picked them, but I'd heard of Maggie, and it was one I actually had on my list, so when you picked it, I was like, okay, well, I'll mark that off.
Can't go wrong with Arnold.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Let's start with Maggie.
Okay.
But I'm equally interested to talk about both of them. So.
Okay. Let me go down here, because I actually had that one second.
I messed up.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
So Maggie has the feel of like a very low-budget independent film, which Arnold has really never done.
Yeah.
At least up until this point, for sure.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I was so blown away by like the novelty of that.
Yeah.
I think I coasted through like, this is so amazing to see Arnold
Yeah.
in a movie like this.
Yeah.
Plus, his acting is awesome.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt validated. Like, I always knew in my heart that he was a good actor. But I mean, if you watch
I
this
know
movie,
what you mean. Like, I'm validated.
you can't deny that he's a great.
Yeah.
He's awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
But watching it again, I think I didn't have that novelty to carry through, so I didn't quite love it like I did the first time I saw it. But we can talk about it.
Cool.
What did you think?
I liked it, yeah. I thought it was really good. I had a feeling it would probably be, you know, I was hoping it would be good because, like you said, I mean, Arnold and Stallone, I think they get a bad rap and stuff. I mean, what we watched like a couple weeks ago didn't help Stallone's case, but every other movie we've talked about,
His
like
worst
Demolition Man is one of the, I was about to say one of the greatest movies ever made, but I think
agree.
it is.
That's awesome.
And he's great. He's great in it because you know he does comedy, and Arnold's the exact same way. Obviously, they made their name and fortune by doing action, but like they can do comedy and drama and stuff, and this just shows it. And he's helped by like, you know, his co-stars and stuff, like his daughter Abigail Breslin. Well, his daughter Maggie, who's played by Abigail Breslin,
the titular Maggie,
and his like new wife or whatever, stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree. That was actually what I jumped out the most this time. Was like Abigail Breslin is great in this.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, she steals the movie from Arnold.
Yeah,
it's her movie, really.
I mean, he's on the cover and he's in it, but he's not in it as much as you. I mean,
he disappears.
It's also not like a thing with Liam Neeson where they're like he's in this film and then literally he's in it for 5 seconds, or like Bryan Cranston in the first Godzilla film where it's like he dies in 5 seconds and you're like, okay, cool, I got baited on this. He is in like a large portion of this film, but they rightfully so make the film about her, you know, because it's, I mean, in my eyes, this is a zombie movie, but it's not. It's like essentially about someone that has cancer or has like a disease, like a terminal illness, and the family coming to terms with, you know, this person is going to die. So it's like her journey and their journey of saying goodbye to a loved one. And I think that's what puts it apart from like just the standard zombie. It just so happens to be that, you know, it is in a world where zombies, like, you know, that's the big issue in this. So yeah, I thought the acting was, you know, good stuff.
Yeah. Abigail Breslin, more Oscar nominations than Arnold.
Yeah. That's that is a thing. I was kind of shocked when I looked it up, because after watching it I was like, oh man, this had to have won some awards, right? And it won like one award, and like Abigail Breslin was nominated for a bunch, but Arnold didn't get shit. And I was like, what? Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I'm not shocked. It's a zombie film. They essentially probably didn't even fucking check it out, but you know, I thought I thought it was nomination worthy at least for awards, you know, because I don't know if anybody. I think that's the thing though, is that like you have to watch so many films in a year and stuff like that. If you're like, if they made them watch all of them, but like if they had watched all of them, they would see, oh, this is totally worthy of like a nomination at the Oscars or something, or at least like a nod, because it's like just because it's a zombie film, I'm sure they were like, okay, fuck that, it's horror. We're just not even gonna look at that.
Pretty much.
But
there are some good horror moments in this movie.
Yes,
though.
yeah.
There's a handful. Like, whoa.
And a lot of the stuff of her like turning, like as far as like what they did with her like face and eye and stuff, it reminded me of that fucking film we watched, not as nasty as that, but like iZombie, where the guy turns into a zombie slowly. And it's like,
yeah, like when she took her bandage off her wound and like maggots came out, I thought I was gonna lose my lunch.
You were like, where'd it go? One thing I was kind of scared at the beginning was when this film starts up, there's 6 company logos before the film starts, and I was like,
that can be a red flag for
like,
sure.
Is this like fucking Steven Seagal China salesman over here, where it's like we're gonna have some really bad green screen and shit? But that wasn't the case. This was like a shot on site, kind of like a Yellowstone production with like in the like Longmire or something. Yeah. So,
yeah, I really like the look of this movie. Like there's lots of like beauty shots and stuff of the desolate landscape, but still capturing its beauty. The most pretentious thing I've ever said. But you know what I mean?
No, I know. It just thought it was funny. I was like, I'm like, when I watched this, God wept.
Like, why?
Wait. If he watched it himself, he would weep. He's like,
he found out you watched it.
I was watching it. I'm watching it like, okay. And he's like, what a meal. It's like, what?
That makes sense.
He's like, I love it. When Arnold goes to like, did you catch this or not? Like, because you've seen it a couple of times. How many times have you seen this?
I think just twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So, essentially, they start out and he goes to like pick up his daughter because she's been like bitten or like infected, and the nurse like asks Arnold his daughter's name at the hospital, and Arnold calls his daughter Maggie, and the lady looks at him weird, like she read the script and knew that her full name was somehow not Maggie, and then it was, dude, because he goes Maggie, and she's like, and he's like Marguerite or whatever, and I was like,
come on. that's
she had zero time to look at the thing to see if Maggie was on the list, so like how would she know?
Dude, that's funny.
I was like, also like,
it's like Lando pulling down his mask just so the audience can
he's like, it's like, she's not Data. She doesn't have like everyone's name memorized, especially in like a quarantine clusterfuck going on. But I was cracking up because I was like,
dude, nice.
Wait a minute. She like instantly was like, huh? But yeah, like you said, there's some good horror moments in this too. Like, I also like how in this it kind of reminds me of like Dead Rising 2, where like it's kind of like the zombie outbreak happened, but it's become kind of like a
there's a level of control,
right?
It's not
yeah,
complete chaos.
Yeah, it's like stuff has kind of gone to crap in certain places, but in places where like when they go to the gas station and the person that was running it got turned into a zombie, it's like that makes sense, because if he's out in the boonies and he's the only one running it, people would come in and just take shit and stuff, and that makes sense. But like in like the major cities and stuff, like the hospitals are kind of overrun, but like they're also like, they're taking major control of it. Like the cops are coming and taking people that have been infected. They're like, they have major quarantine stuff in place, and like, they're getting to the point where like, unless they were to just stop doing that, like the zombies it's pretty much going to get like eradicated eventually and stuff. So, and they arrest people, like they arrest someone in this movie that was like harboring like their relatives that were like turned, kind of like in like the second season of The Walking Dead with like Herschel, where he's like hiding his like people in the barn or whatever. like the lady gets taken away, like, so it's like people are being punished for doing that, to be like, you know, you can't be doing this shit because we're all in the, either we all, you know, rise together or we all get fucked. So I thought that was interesting to see, because usually it's like this stuff hits in these movies and they're like, okay, well, this is you know, we're just gonna, you know, it's weird to see in a zombie film where it's not just instantly like, hey, we're gonna film this in, like, you know, some random quarry somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like they actually have the police come by, like there's still like a working infrastructure and stuff, because it never got to the point where it was so bad that, you know, which I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I agree. And the whole time you're wondering, what's Arnold's decision going to be? How's he going to handle this situation? Because he's running out of time.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, he doesn't really have to make any decisions.
Arnold has no impact on the film. Which I thought was kind of interesting too, honestly, to tell you the truth. Cause,
it's realistic.
This is probably his most inept character he's ever played, though. I'll tell you that much, because he falls asleep like 10 times in this film, and he could have been killed. He falls asleep, and he's like, right here.
He, like, stops the police from coming one time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing that he does in this whole movie.
But he didn't even stop him. Fucking his daughter
stopped.
Like, the zombie saved the human.
That's my big, I guess, criticism with this movie is, like, it doesn't, like, mine the emotion as much as it could have of, like, that situation. You know what I mean? Like, it barely scratches the surface of what... I guess I kept thinking about that Voyager episode with the doctor when he created his own family.
Yeah.
Like, that episode destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I wish this movie would have, like, gone as far as that. But it's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
I think there are definite parts of that. They kind of, at the beginning, take away some of this stuff by, like, having her siblings go to a different, like her step siblings essentially go to, like,
they're like, bye movie.
Yeah, they go away and they don't come back because, which makes sense. I mean, it's like the mom has them go to, like, the stepmom has them go to a different, like, stay with their aunt, because they know that essentially Arnold and, like, her stepmom are gonna have to, like, kill her or like take her to, you know, so, like, but I could totally see, you know, like, that does take some, like, what's it called, like, emotions out of it. At the end there is kind of some stuff that kind of is sad, where she's calling them, but it's like a fucking dial tone or some shit. So it's like she's trying to, like, connect with them again, and it's like, you know, sad.
Yeah.
I think most of the emotion from this comes from, like, Abigail Breslin, honestly,
100%.
Because Arnold is doing good in this film, but he's
just sitting around looking sad the whole time, not doing much.
Right.
Which
I guess maybe that's why I didn't get any nominations. I don't think he was acting bad in this. I think he was just kind of... I think
he's great. It's just the
he's
character.
just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's realistic. Like, a lot of people probably would do that in this situation.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of numb because
like, he's not going to be able to make the decision.
Right.
So Maggie does it for him, basically.
Right. Yeah, spoiler alert, she commits fucking zombicide at the end. She's a suicidal, homicidal, zombicidal.
No, not me.
You're that fucking Sabu. Get the hell away from me. It's like, Jesus. It's like, well, if he's suicidal, like, why does it matter? Anyway.
But it was a pretty strong moment when Arnold had to, like, kill his neighbors who were zombies, including a little kid. Was like, whoa, this is.
I also appreciated that, like, they never showed Arnold fucking kill a kid or put a fucking fox that got mangled out of its misery. I was like, thank you for not...
It was tasteful.
Being fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like, tasteful, like you said. There was a part, though, when they went to the gas station and it was, like, completely empty and there's a barking dog, and I was like, is that dog chained up? Because if so, that dog is fucking left to die right now. You fucking asshole.
That's the saddest part of this whole movie. R.I.P.
True.
The dog.
Zombie in restroom. That was the first scare for me.
That was a pretty good scare.
Yeah.
It was well done.
I had to wear, like, headphones for this, essentially, because this film's audio levels were fucked. It was like when I was listening, like the dialogue was too low sometimes, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, speak up." Yeah, I was just like, "What?" Maybe it was my TV, but then again, like, the battery's audio wasn't like that. I could hear everything, so I don't know. Maybe the mix was just weird. I was in the mix.
Did you know that Arnold did this movie for no money?
Oh wow.
Just because he
Maybe
really
that's
wanted
why
to
he was like,
he was sad because he
they're
wasn't
like
getting a
action,
paycheck.
and he's like, oh shit, I'm not getting any money for this. He's like, well, this is what you're getting. He's like, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's cool. It's just funny that this of all movies was what he was so passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
I think it's kind of interesting because the thing that brought me to this was like I couldn't think of any time that he had ever been in a horror film before.
I don't think he has.
And I was like, that's a pretty novel thing for me.
Yeah,
because
totally.
Usually he's just like action, and I'm like, that's fine, but it's like how
I
many
mean, we
times
grew
have
up
you
and
seen
he was only in the
Yeah.
biggest movies out there.
right, but it's like all they were was action. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, dude, like that's cool, but like I wanted to see him in something different. So this was interesting to see him in something. It just kind of sucks it took him this long to fucking finally do something like
I know.
that.
But that
I'm sure his agent too was just like, you can't be doing this fucking horror bullshit.
that also was pissing me off though, because I was like, "Where's Arnold in this movie?" Like he disappears for long stretches of time, and
He's like,
I'm like,
well,
"They
his
should've called
daughter
the
is
movie
dying.
Wade."
His daughter was dying, yet he was like he
Napping
had
on the
other
couch.
things to be doing. He's like, I got chores to be doing. I got to chop wood. I'm like, couldn't you like put that off for a week? She's like literally only has like a week to live. Like what?
She's literally like, "Daddy, I'm dying."
He's like, yeah. He's like, I can't take care of this wood chopping any other day. It's like, does your house still fucking burn wood? Yeah, Arnold was I think he doesn't he like kind of tear up at some point after he kills the neighbor's kids or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, oh. Yeah, I was just like, that was not good.
How could this happen to him?
Yeah, seriously. I did appreciate the doctor was like treating her nicely, even though it was like, he's like, oh, you're doing pretty good. I'm like, dude, her fucking finger got cut off by her. But
He should have been like, "Zombie!"
yeah, he's like, you're fucked.
I like how the solution for a lot of people is to take their zombie family and friends to quarantine,
Right.
where they like put them down basically.
Yeah.
But the way they do it, they said is extremely painful.
Yeah, I was like,
I was
why don't you just blow their fucking head off? That would be... Because, like, I thought it would be like, you inject them with this and it, like...
they'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
But apparently
But they're like...
"Ah, ah!"
Yeah, they're like in hell before... It's like that thing with Lou Albano. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Jesus! That PSA. He's like, I'm telling you, if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. I'm like, come again? But yeah, I was like...
Makes it a little bit easier to make your decision if you know you're going to put them through hell before they
Right! Like, I'm so glad that my fucking parents are going to be in hell right before they fucking die. Like, not to talk about the fucking fact that they're, like, necrotizing before everyone's eyes, and there is no fucking cure at that moment. It did seem like that they would possibly have a cure at some point, but the cure at this point was to fucking murder the shit out of them, which, I mean, fair enough, but, like, like you said, the way that, like, why is that you would think the humane thing would be to just put them to sleep. Like, they have lethal injection, like, can't they do that? Like,
apparently not.
like, fuck it! When the eyes started getting glazed over and they had, like, these drops you could put in to kind of clear them up again, I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, that they have, like, Band-Aids for this that they've come up with, but no, like, permanent, like, cure, which makes sense because at this point, like, I guess if you think about it, like, I guess, like, if it's kind of like there are certain diseases that have been around forever that have just never been, like, they're just always going to be around, and it's like, maybe in that universe, zombieism will just be a thing that if you catch it, you're fucked, you know, like...
I think it's a hoax.
Zombie weeks.
I'm like, this disease ain't that serious.
They made me wear a fucking mask and I got pissed. But
I thought it was a free country.
Shit. What'd you say?
I thought this was a free country. Anyway.
Now that we've pissed off the audience. Once again. Or not,
With our
maybe.
choice of
I
movies.
guess it depends on
Yeah.
what their views are. I thought it was kind of interesting in the beginning. He takes her home and stuff to the farm, and then there's a scene later on when he's taking her home in the truck again, but she's kind of more like pale and like sedated and stuff. Kind of mimic the first scene or like the early scene in the movie, and he like plays music, and she's like. It's just like towards the end of this film, it's pretty depressing, but it's also like there are small little like patches of like when he shows like the flowers that came up after he went to go like get her, and he's like, I planted these, when you ran away, and when I came back, they were grown, and I was just like, that's the most bullshit part of this movie.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Also, there's a few moments of humor, like when they're eating the food that the stepmom cooked, and they
were
laugh about how
right, pretending like it's like poison.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Yeah. There are parts like that are like that and stuff, and
If you didn't have that, this would be like the grimmest movie.
It's just sad because it's like it goes from that to like being super serious and like this person's gonna die and stuff, and it's like those good days when someone's like dying of like a disease, like an illness, like cancer or something, and it's like they have those good days where they're kind of how they used to be, but then like the next day is like horrible again, and it's like it's just sad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that can be done. But then there's like a kind of like a last night of like carefree fun with her and her boyfriend and like a bunch of other people and her friends and everybody. They're being nice to treat them like I mean, they are normal people, but they know that they're gonna die, so it's like they're treating them like
enjoy what you have left as much as you can.
And they were kissing, and I wonder if they had sex. I was wondering.
I'll find out in Maggie too.
Maggie too. Well, I was just wondering. It's like, is that something that you would like? I mean, there's no risk to that because you're both dying. It's not like you can catch anything, right? It's like, you know what I'm saying though. Like if it was your last day, I mean, I don't know. Then it starts to get really scary because she says she smells something, but there's no food cooking. Oh no! Because that was one of the interesting symptoms where it was like, they're gonna like not be hungry anymore, and then they're gonna start like smelling,
getting really hungry.
Yeah, they'll smell like
not for food.
people, or they'll smell like essentially like living people will smell like really good to them, and I'm like,
That was cool, but also I thought it was pretty silly how she was like, "You smell like food," as if food only has one smell. Like what? But hey, it works.
You smell like fucking food, help me!
There's food in here.
I'm in the wrong body. It's like, what? I put zombie with a gun kills a fox. Yeah, I like how one of my notes is Arnold cutting wood, so I guess that stuck out to me a lot. Maggie says, you'll have to promise you'll do it. You have to make it stop. Arnold says, Jamie, I promise.
Dude, nailed it. I promise.
He kind of promises, but then he instantly fucking lies and doesn't do shit. He just falls asleep.
And he's not gonna do it.
Yeah. He's like...
I'm like, man up!
He's like, I've never been so fucking intoxicated by the fucking falling asleep. Like, what the fuck have you been doing, old man, that's made you fucking so tired?
Yeah.
Cutting fucking wood instead of hanging out with your dying daughter? You fuck. Disgusting. The doctor says, this is what they give in quarantine, but I'd use this instead, and he points to the gun. Essentially going back to the point we were making where it's like, it's less painful and more humane to fucking blow someone's head off than inject someone with this lethal poison. I was like, come on!
He gives her the gun, he's like, you do it.
Yeah, pretty much. What'd you think about Maggie when she walked down the stairs the next morning with some infected grippers? Her toes were like...
That was gross.
So this is fucking ineptitude fucking 25 of the film where fucking Arnold's like... me. And she's like... She acts like she's gonna fucking kill him, and then she kisses him, and then she gets on the roof and CKYs herself. She's like, 1 pound rickadoodie coming down. But yeah, like, I guess, I mean, I'm not complaining about that because Arnold in this movie is not playing the typical, hey, I'm an action star. He's playing
a real person.
Yeah, a typical person. Like, I mean, he's an old man. He's, you know, he's exhausted from emotionally exhausted from the fact that he's going to lose his first child. You know, like, he never thought this day that he would have to bury his child before, you know, well, that he would have to bury her at all. And, you know, just the idea of that is like, he's fucked. He's like, man, this, you know, he doesn't say it, but, you know,
yeah, he sprays
you
it.
can tell. Yeah. What'd you say? What?
He sprays it.
He's like, fucking Triple H style.
Yeah, I think it's a
Maggie's
fine
like,
ending.
help. He's like, what? What?
Maggie helps out her dad and does the job herself.
Yeah, I think throughout this film, I think she can tell that her, like, parents are having a hard time with this, like her stepmom, and they even, like, kind of like, oh, you know, they kind of, Arnold kind of acts like, you know, oh, you know, what if it was, like, your real kids, and she's, like, pissed, because she's like, what are you talking about? I've always treated her like, you know, like my kid.
I raised her like.
And it's essentially Arnold trying to find any way, he's, like, lashing out at, it's like when you lash out at someone that loves you, and it's like, you fucked up kind of thing, but you don't have any other thing to do because you're essentially like, well, you know. So, yeah.
Cool.
Digital HD, I keep looking at that on the back. UV, it's like, cool.
Ultraviolet, nice brand.
Yeah.
Died.
Ultraviolet.
Dude, I was watching some movie and there was a thing for like digital copy, which is when you'd get a CD or a DVD.
Yeah.
And you put it in your computer and it would download, like, you'd type in a code and it would download the movie, like in the early days.
So
of...
it was like a legal way to rip a fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, this is the technology of the future.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so outdated.
There's DVDs that used to, like, burn once they fucking, you watched it or whatever, the rentals, and it's like, okay. It's like, listen, you're never going to be able to get around the fact that people are going to fucking burn fucking movies. Like,
yeah. But Maggie, I like this movie. Can't go wrong with Arnold. He's great in it. I'm glad he made this movie.
Yeah. Himself. He was like, action.
Not the director, Henry Hobson.
Yeah.
But I'm going 7.95. I wish it was a little better than it was, but it's worth watching, especially if you like Arnold, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good film. For sure. I mean, I was joking about it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll probably do like a 9.95.
Wow, nice. I'm glad you liked
this
it,
one
man.
a lot.
Nice.
It really shocked me. I was you know, pretty blown away by, you know, how the emotions were portrayed in this and stuff. Did you ever listen to the director's commentary?
I did.
Thoughts on that? Is there,
I don't remember much from it, so
Okay,
it didn't
so it's
really
probably
make an
not
impact.
any deleted scene? It says one deleted scene.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, you're useless. Just kidding.
He fought a zombie Stallone. I'm like, I forgot about that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was kind of shocked that, like, Arnold didn't... Well, neither one of them won anything for this, because the people that won the award, it was, like, for something completely different. I think it was maybe for story or something. But I looked it up, and it was like, it wasn't any awards I'd ever heard of before.
Yeah, this movie didn't really make a big impact when it came out, unfortunately.
Because I remember, like, I mean, granted, I guess I didn't watch it when it first came out, but then again, I'm not... There are plenty of movies that come out that won awards I've never seen, but I've heard of, so it's like, I heard of this, but I think this just had a stigma. It's like, oh, this is a horror film, so it's not getting any fucking praise or anything, sadly. Not all the time, but, like, I mean, it also didn't help that Arnold was in it, and I think a lot of people just straight up be like, oh, okay, well, it's Arnold, so he can't act, fuck him. It's like, damn. I'm like, damn, they're right. So, that's the first feature for this episode.
Should we move
of
on
Bloody
to
Shotz.
The Battery? So this one...
I'm like, what's not?
I'm very curious because this seems like one you may love or hate.
Every film is like that.
Sometimes I know what you're going to think, but I'm not sure about this one.
What films have we watched that you were shocked that I didn't like? Can you think off the top of your head, or not really?
Universal Soldier, Day of Reckoning. I'm still shocked. I mean, that's the ultimate.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know why you didn't see it coming. Is there anything you like that I liked that you were shocked that I liked? That you've nominated? Probably not, because if you nominate something that you think suck or that you think is good, why would you think You're like, I love this, but fucking he loved it too.
What about a good example is Neighbors, a movie that we both don't know if
yeah,
we like or
I
hate.
still don't know about that. That's either a 0 or a perfect film. It's like, what? That's probably the most perplexing film we've ever watched on the podcast.
I think it is.
Could go either way. But let's talk about this film, which has gone one way in our minds.
The Battery from 2012.
Yes.
Directed, written, and starring Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, this guy is the Renaissance man over here.
Yeah,
He's the
dude.
real deal.
What'd you think of him?
I thought he was the fucking greatest shit ever.
I agree. Like, within a minute of watching him, you're like, the talent is just, like, pouring off of him. It's like, holy dude.
Even more so, like, just, I mean, like, even if I was like, whatever, like, his acting is whatever, but, like, to be able to... Like, he not only did, like, wrote this, he directed it while being one of the main two people in the movie, and he had to play the character that was more, like, in charge of the two, and he essentially did all the music choices and the way everything was put together. It's like, this was, like, his film, and it's like, good job.
What's even more... I agree with all that. What's even more... Do you know what the budget was for this movie?
Probably, like, nothing.
Guess.
Probably, like, $100,000.
$6,000.
Oh, okay.
He asked 10 friends for $600 each.
Nice.
And made a movie that's, like, better than most movies.
Yeah. I mean...
It's amazing. It's
not
inspiring.
shocking because, like, there's not, like, a lot of money on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I don't know how much it usually takes to make a film. So it was kind of... I mean, I was like, 600,000, like, I don't know.
No, 6,000.
I know, but 600,000, I don't know 6,000 from 600,000 when making a movie.
Yeah.
Because some movies these days are like, this movie costs, like, $2 billion to make, and then, like, another movie, it's like this, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny cost like $600 million. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But that's like 6,000 is like attainable.
Yeah.
You know? That's what kind of inspires me about this movie is like, if I was talented enough, I could make a movie like this. You know what
I
I
mean, I can totally see it being made for that too, because like the way it looks. I mean, not like I'm taking anything away from it, because it's like, I mean, they weren't doing like Lord of the Rings, but
They just filmed in like, fields and stuff.
Right.
And
but
countryside.
Like, they probably knew how to get the money that they need, because it's not like they were like, well, $6,000 that's going into the movie. It's like, well, that they also have to like pay for gas and shit like that. So, or maybe they just siphoned it out of cars.
The biggest expense was the car, and it broke down instantly because they were going to film the ending like in a totally different place, but the car just wouldn't go, so they just filmed it there in that area.
That works, because it's like, I would have never known.
But this movie is also about friendship, or the lack of friendship.
Yeah.
Because it's two dudes, and they're not really friends. They're just stuck together. And
they're kind of like...
grown to depend on each
if
other.
I was like... Me and a coworker were essentially the only two people left alive.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's better to be with somebody than not be with them, but... You know...
They don't really work well together, though. Like, their personalities clash, and, like...
Yeah.
Ultimately, it doesn't work for one of them.
True.
Maybe both.
Maybe, yeah, true.
But I just thought it was interesting, because, like, they weren't, like, best friends or people who, like, were lifelong friends. They were just, like, guys that were trying to make it work.
Right.
And it wasn't really... it stopped working.
Yeah.
But... Jeremy Gardner's character of Ben must have been inspired by Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
He's like embracing the situation.
Yes.
Like it's like an adventure for him to survive the zombie outbreak, which I thought was cool and interesting. Mm-hmm. Do you think how do you think you would react in this situation?
I'm like, oh, I would have no problem.
I'm out.
I'd kill every fucking zombie I saw, motherfucker. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a loaded question. Everybody would probably think, oh, look, I'd be fucking the dude that would be kicking ass. But at the same time, like, you could have a guy that's like, you know, a SEAL Team 6 member, and then this happens and he fucking folds. Or you could have a guy that's like, you know, works at the fucking, you know, 7-Eleven, and he ends up being like the guy that steps up. It's like when a fight or flight moment happens, you never know until it happens. It's kind of hard to, because you could train for something like this, but who knows, you know,
I know.
if your fucking relative turns into a zombie, like, you know, how many people would fucking get killed because they couldn't make that decision and then they end up getting destroyed.
Yeah, it's hard to know, but interesting to think about. Like, I feel like I'm not a coward. I've just never been tested.
I knew you were gonna say that. Damn. It's literally just the setup for that. I just feel like I'm not a coward. I've never been tested. It's like, how do you know if you're a coward or not then?
That's true.
Especially if you've never been tested.
But I'd like to think that.
Yeah, I'm a pass. It's like, pass what? Oh man, I'm passing. The first thing I thought of when I was watching this, when the dude was sitting on the porch, was like, nobody like painted under this deck overhang. I was like, because it was like brown, and then it was like no one had ever painted up there.
You're like, cinema sin.
What the fuck? No, it was just kind of like whoever made that deck didn't seal it or anything.
You had plenty of time to look at it because this movie's full of long takes.
That's true.
What did you think of that? That's what I was concerned about. Like, I could see that like being off-putting for.
I think at certain times it works, and other times it didn't work super well for me. Like, when we get to it, I think we'll talk about it and stuff. But like, at the beginning here, I didn't really have any issues with it.
Cool.
Like, because stuff was going on and stuff. But there definitely are parts.
I mean, there's a part where like they brush their teeth, but it goes on for like a minute.
Right.
Which is really long.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like, this movie is like a capture of daily life, and
I find it kind of mesmerizing, honestly. Like, it kind of just lulls me in somehow.
You were intoxicated. I was kind of confused. Like, was this movie's original title like Ben and Mickey versus the Dead or something? Because it's called The Battery, but like at the beginning of this film, they show Ben and Mickey versus the Dead, and then at the end they show it again. And
Wait, what?
Like, yeah, on the copy I had.
Ben and Mickey versus the Dead.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the copy I had said
Interesting.
that, and I was like, was this the original title of the film, or?
Interesting. That's not a bad title.
I was wondering if you knew anything about that. I guess not. So maybe I got like a pre-release version or something. I'm like, wait a minute, did we watch the same thing? They cut in like a fucking porno, and I'm like,
Did you watch this on a streaming platform?
I was gonna watch it on I think like Amazon, and right away they started playing an ad, and I was like, nope, I'm downloading this shit, because fuck that. Because I don't like to, like, I mean, I will if there's really no other way, but like, on Tubi, but at the same time, it's like, if it's like a TV show and I'm just kind of watching it for, like, you know, to pass the time or whatever, it's whatever. But if it's like, you know, I'm reviewing it for the fucking podcast, I really don't want to have, you know, someone come in with a Tide ad and I'm like, okay, well, this takes out.
Totally. Couldn't agree more.
That's why
I appreciate your dedication. That's the Mike promise.
One dude. So I eventually started learning this other dude's name, Mickey, but for a long time I just kept putting one dude. This dude, Mickey couldn't kill a zombie. I put, he's shaking. So that's something you kind of find out pretty quick, that like he like has never killed a zombie, and like Ben does everything. So I would say he's like Eugene from The Walking Dead, but Eugene actually like contributed something and was smart. This Mickey guy is kind of like a fucking leech on Ben's. And you kind of find out later that even with him owing his entire life to him, he fucking like he treats him like shit, and he fucking like tries to sell him down the river, and I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus, this guy's a fucking monster.
And Ben keeps saying like, dude, you're gonna get yourself or both of us killed, and
Yeah,
eventually it
it's
does
true.
happen. Like,
It's not the way I thought it would happen. Because he's also an idiot, and he's an idiot. He's an idiot, and he's wearing those. So his whole thing is he wears like headphones and listens to music and wastes batteries like 24/7 just to try to escape from fucking the horrors of the apocalypse. But it's like he can't hear shit, so it's like essentially Ben's his bodyguard 24/7 for no other reason than Ben's like a nice guy.
Yeah, I don't know about nice. He does throw him in a room with a zombie.
Good. Should have killed him.
He's trying to toughen him up.
Yeah. The more I watched this film, like as it went on, I was like, this Mickey guy's pissing me off, man. He's a total bitch.
Well, one pitch, bitch.
Yeah. Well, like it would be one thing if he was like, kind of like, it's understandable he can't like kill him and stuff. But then, like, there's a part in the film where he literally tries to just sell him down the river, and it's like, oh, we're not even friends, fuck him and stuff. And I'm like, dude, if this guy wasn't around, you would have been dead like for a long time ago. Like, so it's just like, he doesn't have any redeeming qualities. It's like,
I like that because I think the Ben character is also like a huge jerk, but ultimately he's right, and this is.
I mean, there is like a
That's
thing.
what I appreciate about it, because they're not just both like Captain Kick-Asses. You know what I mean?
Right, but I'm not saying that, like... I'm saying, like, it's kind of like, I guess, like a dynamic, like...
a toxic relationship.
Yeah, like, all what was it, like, fucking... Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel were, like... They're, like, the ones kind of beating up on the other one. Mm-hmm. Kind of. To a degree, but, like... He's a fucking badass. And it's like, I understand. It's whatever.
Or he's more like a Mo. Like, smart enough,
yeah. See? But,
hey,
I don't know.
That's salt. Here's your pepper.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, he's just a very unlikable character from my end, at least. It was hard for me to, like...
I can see that.
Root for him just for the fact that, like... I mean... They kind of, like, prod at each other and stuff, but there are times when they're, like, nice to each other and stuff, but, like... I could understand, like, Ben getting upset because he's literally having to do everything all the time, and this other dude doesn't really do anything other than kind of, like, give him company, I guess? I don't know, it's, like, it's weird. I mean, like... Not like I'm like, he needs to be, like you said, like, not everybody should be, like, a Captain Kick-Ass, but, like, it feels like he's really just not contributing anything.
Yeah,
like, he's
not.
literally a leech and, like, not helping Ben. Well, he's not a leech, but you know what I mean. Like...
He won't even fish. He's like, you want to come fish? Like, no, I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, and I'm like... This guy, it's like Wimpy from Popeye. He's like, I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Like, what? A timely reference for everybody watching this.
Anyone under the age of 70, Wimpy was a character from, Popeye?
Yeah, he was like a dude that literally, he was like an archetype of like a lazy person that was like, hey, I'll fucking pay you later for a hamburger that you give me today. And
Rad
it's
wimp.
Like, it just never, he would never pay.
Yeah. Well, he pays the ultimate price. He gets his head blown off by Ben.
Oh, I was like, Wimpy? Popeye fucking blows his head off.
It's like, you're gonna get us both killed, Wimpy.
He's like, give me the fucking hamburger, motherfucker.
But Popeye, like these characters, eats out of cans.
Yeah, true. Did you know Ain't No Grave can hold him down? Do you want to talk about that? The score, I guess.
Yeah.
No, never. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't love that song.
Yeah.
There were a couple.
I've heard that.
Like whoever
song.
that artist is, I'm not a big fan of. But
it's a little like sounded like indie stuff.
Yeah,
which is fine.
It is fine. It seems like something the character of Ben would like.
Right. Is interesting.
There are some songs I like, some I didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't love all the song choices.
Did you see this shit coming like a mile away? Where like Mickey scratches off a lotto ticket and he wins $1,000 after the zombie apocalypse happens. I was like, holy shit! I didn't see that coming. Not like I was like, this is bullshit.
Whoa!
But I was kind of like, okay, he's gonna win, and he did.
The bitter irony.
The funny thing was like when he keeps it and like
Yeah.
Ben's like, did you put that in your
like, what's
pocket?
wrong
I
with
saw
you?
you fucking put that in your pocket. Like he's kind of like Ben kind of treats him like an older brother treats like someone. So he's just kind of like it's like fucking yeah. One of my first notes here is not sure how smart it would be to walk around music with a Walkman with zombies everywhere, full blast, but that's not exactly what fucks him up. Also, this where like you can tell that he kind of was just telling him stuff to like make him not fucking freak out. And he's like, "You said they wouldn't come into the woods,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "I said there would be less of them, like there would be less of them on the moon." And I'm like, "What?" Like there would be 0 of them on the moon. So I guess that's kind of correct. But
Now I want a movie about zombies.
I was right. I was like, that analogy like broke fucking Mickey's head. He was like. He didn't say anything. It's like, I mean, that's technically correct. There are less of them on the moon because there are 0 of them. But, and then they
that's just the beginning of Mickey's whining.
they find a smelly car. They were like smells. And I was like, broke his fingernail scratching at the lip.
Like Kenny.
It reeks. Yeah. It's like Jesus. I thought there were some cool shots, like the butterflies in the steering wheel.
Dude, that was awesome.
I went, how the hell did they do that?
Amazing. I think that's why I like this movie, because it's like mainly an independent like art film, I would say, which is right up my alley.
That's why I hated it. No, that's not true. I'm like, I didn't watch it. Dude open sunroof during rainstorm. Okay, so like I
Now
said,
it's a rain roof.
it's Mickey, but every time I put dude, it's fucking Mickey, so I need to... You can tell I love this character. But, like, he did that, and Ben was like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like, it's a rain roof. Shut
He's
it,
like,
dude.
check this shit. They're like, what? Like, he's, like, thick or something. Most unbelievable thing about this film is that this dude found a burned CD. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that ancient technology.
So, Ben, we already talked about this. Jeremy Gardner, he wrote, directed, and starred in this. So that was one of my notes here. I was like, I gotta write about this. I didn't know when we would talk about it, but I at least wanted to.
Yeah, I think he's really, really great in this movie.
I mean, regardless, I think he's super talented. It makes me want to watch all the other stuff he's directed and written. It's just kind of sad there's only like the 3 things he's done.
I know, I hope he does more. Yeah. It's been a little while.
Yeah. Let's go steal some of your dead girlfriend's blankets.
Great line.
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
I was like, Jesus. That's a little harsh. Those that kill get up and eat the dog. They were like, we had to fucking, Mickey, you idiot, we had to fucking kill a dog and eat that dog. We don't want to fucking eat dogs. Yeah. And I was just like...
We ate dog food, then we ate the dog.
Yeah, I was like, good lord. Whoa. It's like, yikes.
But I think I would be more like Mickey. Like, I would want to fortify as opposed to just, like, wandering the earth forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would want to find a place to, like, that was safe.
Even though... he never seemed like he wanted to do anything.
Well,
he's like, I want to stop here, but I won't fortify.
Yeah.
He's like,
sleep in this
he's
bed
like,
and...
fucking kill me tonight.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm with you. I think it would be smarter to like fortify. At least, that's kind of my thing too. I'm more like defense, kind of take them as they come. Because the more I would get out into different areas, that's different areas that you would have to kind of react to, like
the fear of
you
the
don't
unknown
know
would
the
never
surroundings
stop.
and shit. And I completely agree with you. It's just, I think that his whole thing was like he literally just wanted to go back to the way things were, and everybody did, but like he was not, like he was not realistic about the situation ever, and like his whole like wanting to get to a safe place was more important than the fact that they, like, Ben was keeping them safe and stuff. It was like, dude, like, you have a good thing going here. But I agree with you. It's just, I question whether or not if, like, they had even gotten to a place like that, if he would have pitched in to help. Yeah. We just laid on his ass.
Listen to music and smoke cigs.
Like, let me waste all these batteries for no reason. I thought it was kind of interesting. They come across cows, so... Apparently, like, animals are not affected by this in this universe, so, which is kind of the same way in Maggie. Because sometimes you'll see that, like, in I Am Legend, like, that is a thing where like animals could be like in the book they could be I was gonna say corrupted. They're like fucked up.
Yeah.
Infected.
But it's just a nice scene of them petting a cow.
It's not like Resident Evil where like there are animals that get turned into fucking biological bastards.
Zombie dogs.
Like there goes the bastard. This was really like when the film was like, holy shit, when they just hear random people talking on a walkie-talkie. And, Ben's like, yeah, go ahead and talk to him or whatever just to see what's up. And they were lucky that this, like, I mean, they were, they got as far as they did because they contacted these people when they were like, don't fucking ever get on this channel again. It's like, this was The Walking Dead, they'd be dead that day.
Yeah.
Like, the fuckers would come by and blow their fucking head off, like,
yeah. Every other human
Negan would fucking make him eat the bat. They'd be fucked. It's like, dude, these were nice enough people that were like, clearly, we don't need anybody to, to mess with.
Like, move along.
Right. And even at the end, they were like that until they were idiots.
Yeah.
Well, not they, but Mickey is obsessed. He wants this place.
I thought that was a good scene where, like, Ben's like
it was kind
describing
of
how they're reacting differently to the thought of a
Yes.
girl being out there.
Yeah.
Like, you think she's gonna be your girlfriend, Mickey,
Right.
and she's gonna have like a mini skirt. And
he thinks that like he just wants it to go back to the way it was, and he's like, oh, I just want a girlfriend, and it's like, dude,
ain't gonna happen.
Well, it's also like I get the feeling that like even previously Mickey was like, every woman he saw, he was like, we're gonna be together. It's like, okay, dude, like, fucking nerd.
This is basically like Kenny versus Spenny in Zombie in the zombie world. He's a total Spenny.
Yeah. He's like, everybody welcome to the Celebrity Deli. I'd be like, holy shit. Actually, I'd be like, he's my favorite character. A discussion about killing every zombie they come across. That's kind of interesting. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think if there's an easy way to do it,
Yeah.
why not? And decrease the surplus zombie population.
Okay, Scrooge.
But I wouldn't make it a hard and fast rule.
The zombies are like, we want more coal, and you're like, let the fucking poor die and decrease the surplus population. I've seen my fucking ways. Give all the zombies boiled gooses. No, I agree. It's like one of those things where it's like, is it worth it? Like risk versus reward kind of thing. I think it just seems like Ben is doing what he needs to do. It's not like he's like, why do you have to kill all of them? It's like, well, if you're going into a place to see if they have supplies, why would you not clear it? Like, he's Mickey is still thinking that they're going to find like a cure and it's going to turn these people back and stuff like that. And it's like, it's definitely like a case of like someone hasn't even entered the first stage of acceptance, versus someone that's like even though, Mickey, he's the way he is and stuff, like, Ben he's probably like, even though it doesn't seem like it, I feel like he's the more sane person because he's come through the whole, acceptance phase and stuff. I mean, he may not be like completely, like he's kind of bombastic, but he
this
accepts
is our
it.
life now. We got to wander the earth,
Right? And it's not going to
zombies.
get him killed doing that. Like, I mean, it might. I guess if he was stuck with like a billion zombies, but like at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, people looking at both of them might be like, "Oh, he's more insane, but he's just accepting of the situation, and he's come out the other side." Like,
yeah.
So, I wrote down director, writer, actor, nudity wig.
He does hang hog.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I would have the balls to do that. Like if I was directing, I was like, well, I'm directing the film and I just do that for no reason in a scene. I'm like, a little bit of Monica. Everybody's like,
that because he's like taking a shower under a waterfall.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, that did look refreshing.
Yeah, I guess that gives some context to what I was just talking about. He wasn't just like, he's not like Peter Stormare. Was like, woohoo! It's like, cool, you just sexually molested a bunch of people.
But Mickey then does the same thing in a car.
Yeah, this is the famous scene I had seen like before, randomly online.
Randomly. So what do you think about this famous scene?
I don't know. I thought I didn't know where it came from.
So basically, like
I had seen it like on Instagram or something like that, like or TikTok years ago, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And like, just kept scrolling, and then eventually, because I thought at first it was like, "Is this like a porno or something?" And I like fucking was like, but it didn't go any further, so I was like, whatever, because it showed him blowing the chick's head off, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. But then like. When I got to this point in the film, I was like, I've seen this before. What the fuck? So this is what this is from? It's just weird that, like, this was the scene that got put up and they didn't talk about anything else in the film, like, in all the clips I've seen.
It is one of the more memorable.
Yeah, I guess it is the most memorable, or not one of the more it's one of the more memorable because...
I've never seen that in a movie before.
Yeah, I've never seen someone pleasuring themselves to watching a zombie press themselves up against the fucking window.
Like Sir Mix-a-Lot once said, she put him on the glass.
There you have it. Never heard that before.
You never heard that before?
No. Why would I have heard that? You filthy degenerate.
I didn't say it. Sir said it. Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, this Sir Mix-a-Lot.
He's a knight.
Uh-huh.
He's been knighted.
He's like...
He was just born Mix-a-Lot.
Dude, holy shit. He's like, they put them on the gloves.
Put them on ye old glass.
He was hanging out with fucking King Arthur. He's like, put them on the paint gloves. I'm like, holy shit. Sir Mix-a-Lot. Put him on the fucking glass. Oh man. Yeah, it's interesting that it was also not a zombie, like a woman that was very grossly fucking decayed. It wasn't like a Maggie zombie.
Yeah.
It was like they put some fucking shit on her face, kind of, but she was still like fresh. And I was like, okay, dude. And he was like, huh? Do you think Mickey would have tried something more if given the chance?
I don't know, man.
I think he's too much of a rad wimp to try that shit.
He's just a wimp. No rad.
Yeah, true. Ben's like, boom. He's like, click, click, boom. I was like,
that and he laughs his ass off.
I think that probably scarred his ass for fucking life.
I'm sure it did.
Because he was like in the throes of ecstasy, and then fucking he got jump scared, and then his friend laughed at him jerking it. It's like multiple switches and fucking
worst day ever.
Yeah. It's like he got walked in on after witnessing a fucking gore. Damn.
Good stuff.
I'm like, nothing compares to Sir Mix-a-Lot. So yeah, I that was the whole scene.
I'm really interested to talk about the basic centerpiece of this movie, which is the end scene in the car.
Yeah, true. No, I mean,
Do you have any other?
No, I agree that that's the centerpiece. I'm like, I agree that you want to talk about it. I did think this was kind of interesting. Before we get to that, they're like a large summer camp cabin, and there's like voices of the past living, echoing. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
like they're kind of like in a like the movie Heavyweights, where they go to like a summer camp. Like they're in like a hall like that, and they're kind of sitting there. And it's
I like that cabin.
No one's around, but he's just kind of like they're just sitting there. And you can kind of hear like children and like other people like talking and laughing and stuff, but it's like the echoes that obviously they can't hear it. The audience is listening, and they're like, but I just thought that was an interesting thing.
I agree. That was cool.
Mickey loudly argues that they are staying the night, and Ben agrees. It's like one of the only times that like
he gives in.
He kind of takes the reins and he pays for it.
He does.
Being woken up. In the middle of the night. Or not in the middle. In the middle of the night. In the morning with Ben throwing a fucking zombie in for him to kill.
A bit too far. He
yeah.
goes too far.
But, like, there's a part, like, before that, the day before, where he's talking on the thing, and he's like, he downplays, like, you know, Ben or whatever, and he's like, I barely even know him. He's like, we were friends, or we were, like, teammates, and, like...
They're in a battery.
Yeah, and, like, that kind of thing, but, like, I don't even like him, because she's like, well, what about him? And he's just essentially like, fuck him, and I'm like, Jesus.
You're a caveman, and you stink!
Yeah, I'm like... He's like, well, you know what they say about throwbacks? They all got big backs.
Nice.
He finds, like, a bow and arrow. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then, like, he kicks the arrows away. And he's just like... It's, like, essentially like a brother kind of thing. Where he's like, you know, kicks him away. And he's like, I'm going to fucking shoot you or whatever. But...
then he does.
A lot of these zombies seem like they were just extras. That they were like, here's like a ham sandwich.
Who,
yeah.
Would come and do the movie for free.
They're like, we're coming. Mickey goes nuts after he, like, kills. Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yes. Probably. I'd probably be like, what the fuck?
When he put the zombie in that room,
Yeah.
there's people in there!
What if he opened the door and the zombie was standing there with the bat?
Game over.
Holy shit. I'd be like, well, this movie just got interesting. I thought it was funny they found an apple orchard and they played baseball with the apples.
That was a cool scene.
They were like, apples awesome.
Those apples look good.
So, I guess we'll go ahead and start talking about the kind of end to this film with they come across a truck to siphon gas from, and a dude is lying in wait and, like, holds Mickey up with a knife. And he essentially is a dude that's, like, kind of alluding that he escaped from, like... Or not escaped. They gave him a truck, but, like, they tricked him and didn't give him, like, enough gas to go anywhere, essentially. Mm-hmm. And the guy's kind of a nice guy because, like, well, he's not a nice. He's like, fuck you! I'm like, he's nice. But, like, Ben is, like, he's like a smart guy because he, like, talks him down. He's like, I know that you're not going to kill him and stuff. And then when he finally, like, he's, like, has the keys and isn't going to kill him, he, like, runs away, and Ben just kills the fuck out of him.
Executes him.
Yeah. And he's like, you just killed a real person. And he was just like, well, he was going to fucking kill us. Fuck him.
That guy was so pathetic when he got in the car, and he was like, there were no keys.
Yeah!
He was like, ah!
Yeah, he was like, fuck you! He's like, you made me look like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, pretty much. Because this guy wanted to go, like...
Ben's like, diplomatic immunity.
Yeah!
Boom!
He wanted to, like, go to Arizona to, like, meet his family, and Ben was like, dude, his family's dead. Like, what the fuck is he on about? But then Mickey becomes the ultimate fucking idiot. And he's like, hey Annie. And she's just like, well, because these people show up and they just were like, we're gonna let him go, and they were gonna just take their stuff back, and then it was all gonna be good. And then he's just like, wait, take me with you. And she's like, okay, I told you never to fucking talk to me again. And she shoots fucking Ben in the leg and throws the keys in the shit, and Mickey can never fucking find the keys. It's like, good job.
Johnny has the keys.
Yeah. Pretty much she throws him out there, and he's like, can't find him, and then they have to kind of just get in the car, and this horde shows up, and they're like, well.
It's pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
Because this scene is really long, and it goes... I think they're supposed to be in that car for, like, days.
Right, yeah, because they show them,
literally
like,
stuck.
Eating, like, all their canned stuff, and, like, saving all the juice from the cans to fucking drink later when they're out of water, and, like, they end up getting drunk at one point, and, you know, kind of talk about what they wish they had, like, an air conditioning, cheese, balloons, and every Beatles album. I was like, okay.
It's really claustrophobic, though. Like, I started having anxiety because the camera's in the car the whole time, and the zombie, like, moans never stop.
Oh. At least, I mean, I think they're, like, lucky enough to where the car is, like a station wagon, essentially. It's not, like, a tiny-ass, you know, like... So that's the only plus, but it's still, like... they're they're on all sides of them, and they end up putting up blankets essentially to block them out. And
that was one interesting thing in the commentary is they said they drank real alcohol the first time they filmed that drinking scene, and the footage was unusable.
Right? Yeah, I would assume
that's always
that
a
they got
mistake.
wasted and it was a shit show. I was like,
there's a couple shots of them actually drunk that they left in.
Yeah.
For the most part, they had to redo everything.
Yeah, I would assume that they got wasted and then it was just like, oh.
But this is like nightmare fuel. Like this is it's pretty intense. I think
Pretty bad. This is like the nightmare scenario. It's like, okay, the ending of I'm not going to go into it yet because I guess we'll talk more about it. But the way this kind of ended reminded me of like the Night of the Living Dead remake, where it's like, oh, we could have just done this.
Yeah, just walked away.
But like
even a man with one leg can escape the zombies.
right. Which begs the question: how the fuck did Mickey get bit?
You just that incompetent.
I thought this was like kind of like this was kind of stupid that like they put all those blankets up and I was like, okay, it makes sense when they're kind of trying to like sleep and stuff, but like wouldn't he want to like see where Mickey is? Like
get a good
he just
position.
Kept the fucking blankets up and was like,
blindly
when's he coming back? When's he coming back? It's like, dude, if you had all of them down, you would see where the fuck he was and like Jesus Christ. And then there was also like did he not like try to like you know, Mickey can run. He's fine because like Ben's legs all fucked up, but it's like, why didn't he just go like really far away and just like lure him away, and then Ben could get out, look for the fucking keys because and you know, it's just like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Their plan was flawed.
It just made no sense. I was like, huh?
And also like when Mickey jumps out of the roof, it's pretty audacious because like he smokes a whole cigarette. Like the scene goes on for probably 3 or 4 minutes, and it's like they're really pushing it at this point. But I thought it was cool. I like haven't seen that before.
Yeah, but it was like,
but I agree. The plan was flawed.
Well, it made no sense from like, I don't know. It was like kind of like what, but then it ends up being that like literally he just opens the back and fucking goes out through the front of the roof, and it's like, oh, okay. And I think that was something that Mickey even said at one point.
Oh, really?
Didn't he? He was like, why don't we
remember.
try that thing that we did at that other house or whatever? And he's like, well, we had a lot more room then. And it's like, well, maybe they should have just tried it. But
were you shocked when Ben blew his head off?
I thought, honestly, when he first came in, I thought he was kidding. I thought he was fucking with him because you don't really see anything. Like, he's kind of like, he's like, and he's like, oh no. And then, like, I thought he'd be like, I got the keys, you know, like, because he had been fucking with him the whole time. So I thought maybe he was turning it around. But then, like, it's like you barely even see where he got bit. And then he fucking, like, is like, boom. And, like, blows his head off. And because he's like, don't make me leave. And then he just like, okay, I won't make you leave. I'll fucking kill you.
Pretty strong stuff.
I was like, there you have it.
But you know why I really like the very ending of this movie?
Because Mickey gets killed?
Well, that was quite a touch. But Ben looked at the camera before he made his move. I don't know why I love that so
He's
much.
like,
it works for me every time. It was awesome. And then the end of this movie is him just slowly walking away from a even slower horde of zombies.
yeah, this is like Maggie style.
Yeah.
They both have like the cut before the possible what happens next thing. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious what happens at the end with Maggie, but she's like, I'm cured. Everyone's like, oh.
She lands in a mattress pile.
Yeah, it falls into like Zombex, and she's like, I'm fucking free. But yeah, Ben's like hobbling away, like, and fucking, they're just like, can't catch him. And I'm like, well, that's one plus, is that like these weren't like fucking like ravenous runners or whatever. Those I'm always just like, holy shit, dude, like how's this even a movie? Like,
you have no chance.
right, it's like this isn't even there's no tension here. It's like they're fucking gonna run you down like fucking lions.
That's one thing we didn't mention in Maggie is they're really slow too. I was
Right.
like, Mr. Romero would be proud.
Right.
Like slow zombies only.
Romero. I think like slow zombies are pretty good in like films, and like games, I think like both can work really well. Like if you're playing like a game, like fast ones are pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, I was like, I don't really know what else to say.
I love this
At that
movie.
point.
Like I said, it's kind of inspiring to me. It's a 9.95. I could watch it again right now and be thoroughly entertained.
Yes. Good stuff.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. Probably give it like a 7.95. I thought it was good. I'll probably not watch it again right away. But
Except for one scene.
yeah, it was okay. I mean, I did like it. I can't get over the fucking Mickey character. I'm like, this character fucking sucks. But I'm interested to see like his other films, like Tex Montana Will Survive and After Midnight.
Yeah, they're both worth watching for sure.
He's the star of this for me, Jeremy Gardner. Not that I'm like, fuck the other guy. I'm like, I didn't like his character, so he sucks. But I think he's in some of his other films too, which is cool.
Yeah,
He
I
was
think
like,
After Midnight is pretty good, and it definitely he gets to show more of his acting chops in that movie. So
yeah, and this one, like the character Mickey is just kind of like he's kind of like doing the Arnold thing, where it's just kind of like he's just, I don't know if he's
dead inside.
Or what. Yeah, it's like he has no zest or something in his life. I'm like, where's your fucking zest? Where's your fucking cojones?
it's a zombie apocalypse. Have some zest.
Have some fucking cojones. Fucking
You're
Mickey.
not fully clean until your zest is fully clean.
So what are the special features on this?
Oh, it's loaded. It's got a lot of stuff.
Is it fucking loaded? You got anything to say about this?
The commentary is really good. I mean, they talked about all their struggles making the movie, car breaking down.
Also, this is like the only fucking movie I've ever watched where like the drunken scene was not annoying as fuck.
Yeah, that's true. That and Star Trek First Contact.
It's the worst movie ever made.
So what's on tap for next episode?
I'm like Star Trek First Contact. Just that one scene. You brought it up. And you will now suffer. So, we've talked about this many times on the podcast. We've quoted it even more. And now, we will talk about it as we watch it. Well, not as we watch it, but... Because it's going to be alright, and it's going to be okay. There's something to watch for.
Oh, dude.
American movie.
Nice.
Coupled with the short film that he made, finally, Coven.
Coven.
Yeah. Or Coven, yeah.
I mean, Coven is the correct pronunciation of that word.
Have you ever seen that before,
I
Coven?
have.
Yeah.
I love this movie, and I love Coven.
Yeah, I just watched it recently, and I was like, okay, it's time for a week.
Nice.
I'm like, I guess we don't even have to do an episode, because we're probably going to be, like, perfect.
I mean, it's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I agree. We'll talk about it in
Talk about inspiring.
a lot of detail, I'm sure. And there's some stuff that I saw when I watched Coven that I was not expecting to see. Like, there are references and stuff that I've seen over the years that I was like, wait a minute, I had no fucking clue it came from this. So we'll talk about that as well.
Cool.
I'm excited, and I'm excited. Like, because people that are excited say they're excited.
Yeah, I mean, American movie, like I said, it's amazing.
I'm interested because I've never watched it with the commentary, so I'm interested to do that.
Nice.
To kind of get some more behind the scenes stuff and all that stuff.
Mark Borchardt is another hero.
I agree.
I follow him on social media.
What's he say? He's
He
like,
posts,
masks are a lie. You're like, uh-oh.
No, he's like, do something productive today. The world is beautiful. Like,
Do something!
it's like the best thing you could follow.
Yeah. I mean, he's a really positive guy.
Yeah.
Especially in this movie, which we're going to watch again.
Cool, man.
For the 7th time. Cool, man. Yeah, it was good stuff. Zombie Week. We've put it in its grave.
But it's getting back out. Ah! Help me!
Help me! It's like, Jesus. Cool, man.
All right, until next time.
Like,
Bye.
bye Matt. Sorry I scared you guys earlier, but at some point you guys have to get used to me, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry too. I just get confused sometimes about you. Like, you seem to be just kind of an all-purpose general character. You know, sometimes you're our boss, sometimes you're not. I'm pretty sure you've killed us before. So.
Just don't think about it too hard.
But technically you are a zombie, right?
Well, yes. I am damned to walk the earth forever as one of the undead.
Help me!
I just did ecstasy.
I'm sorry too. It's just I get confused sometimes about you. Like, I don't understand. Sometimes you're just kind of a general all-purpose type character. Like, sometimes you're our boss, sometimes you're not. I'm pretty sure you've killed us before, so... What happened?
You said some things like 500 times.
I'm sorry too, I just get confused sometimes about you. Like, you kind of seem to be an all-purpose general character to fit whatever needs are needed. What? Alright, one more time. Trying to be natural, and it's unnatural.
It's not working. Whatever needs are needed.
The needs are needed!
Help me sometimes.
3, 2, 1.
Help me!
9.95. Emotion is feeling so high. 9.95. In overdrive.
Put your body in overdrive.
9.95.